I think that this Portland tree bomber story, again, is important because I think it helps hit a lot of central and key issues. So that's why we've spent the time that we have here on episode 197 of MediaMonarchy.com. I had the great opportunity this past Sunday, so just 2 days after Blackjack Friday night, my good friend Clyde Lewis of GroundZeroMedia.org invited me on his show that's broadcast live on 100,000 watts on KUFO 101.1 FM here in Portland, Oregon. Had me on for the full 2 hours in studio to discuss Blackjack Friday, the face of error, and we also discussed something Clyde calls commune numbers, and that would be numbers stations, something over the shortwave that you hear numbers announced, and they've been used since World War I era for spies. The story and meme has come back in that the Russian spies that were recently busted, Anna Chapman and the rest of them, they were using number stations. Everyone's favorite new video game, Call of Duty Black Ops, features number stations. And someone who had analyzed some number stations from a frequency in a station that hadn't broadcast in quite some time, someone claims, and again, I don't have this all off the top of my head, but I do have the articles on Ground Zero, Blackjack Friday, and commune numbers that link back to the full original pieces from GroundZeroMedia.org, that it had something more than be sure to drink your Ovaltine. It mentioned a North-South Korean situation, which we have, and it also mentioned some kind of attack on LA, which we could speculate could be the mystery missile situation. And it also made reference to an assassination attempt on Medvedev. So I put this episode out from GroundZeroMedia.org through my own feeds and podcast servers. So again, if you subscribe, as you should, feeds.feedburner.com/MediaMonarchy, put that in your Google Reader, put that straight into iTunes, and you won't miss a thing. You'll get all the audio, video, and even PDFs at times. So I put this episode out for folks to check out. And again, huge thanks to my friend Clyde for having me on, for giving me the opportunity, for having both of us go on and talk about the tree bomber 48 hours after it had happened to a mass amounts of audience, hopefully tens of thousands of people. And again, he's number one in his time slot on Sunday nights. I think that shows that people are hungry for something different on the radio. So again, even thanks to KUFO for carrying a show. I've made several references throughout today's shows to our latest episode of NewWorldNextWeek.com. We were on a couple-week hiatus while James did some important work behind the scenes, some of which will be manifesting itself very soon, I believe, on CorbettReport.com. But our latest episode for December 2nd, we go over, of course, the FBI tree bomber, the government versus Internet, and the Food Safety Act. Government versus Internet grabbing domains, and the Food, quote-unquote, Safety Act. It is an act, and it's rigged. We go over both those on our previous episode 196B. So again, NewWorldNextWeek.com. Again, you can subscribe to that. You can get high quality, low quality, MP3 versions. And yes, we're even working on transcripts. If someone out there, speaking of transcripts, stenographer, we would appreciate a stenographer for our regular Media Monarchy radio episodes. That would be quite the undertaking, as you would have to listen to all my ums and figure out what the hell I'm talking about. But if that interests you in the slightest amount, and again, we could use it for the YouTube videos that we shoot, and as we are shooting right now for Ustream and youtube.com/MediaMonarchy, even transcriptions for those brief media clips would be appreciated. So again, MediaMonarchy@gmail.com. We'll shift gears slightly as we move through all the other related news going on in our brave new world order, and we'll take it from the AFP. U.S. to drop color-coded terror alerts. And again, we note the timing of many of these events just as we're hitting TSA rage boiling point. We have the tree bomber, but meanwhile, we're getting rid of the ridiculous color-coded terror alerts. The United States is planning to replace its color-coded terror alert system drafted in the wake of September 11th, 2001 attacks with detailed threat advisories, media reported Thursday. The Department of Homeland Security, DHS, has drafted a proposal sent to the White House to end its 5-colored system, mocked by critics as a relic of post-9/11 frenzy that caused alarm without explaining the reason for the alerts. Instead, it will provide more clarity and guidance in specific alerts, according to the reports. Quote, the goal is to replace a system that communicates nothing with a system that communicates precise, actionable information based on the latest intelligence, end quote, a senior Homeland Stupidity official told The Washington Post and The New York Times.
10 years after it was introduced, the befuddling system of color-coded terror alerts is about to get scrapped. Since March 2002, the 5-colored palette has attempted to guide Americans on the likelihood of a terror attack, from low-risk green to severe-risk red. The problem is, too many have found it meaningless.
Well, I don't think anybody really pays attention to it anyways.
It's always, what, orange elevated?
Where are we at color chart-wise right now? we're yellow.
We're yellow, yes.
In fact, the national threat level has been stuck at yellow since 2006. That translates to significant, somewhere above guarded, and below high. Stuck at yellow before, during, and even after the underwear bomber attempt last Christmas.
It seems like it has been the same for a very long time.
It's not really clear, what orange is versus yellow. I don't know.
Critics say that it doesn't convey any real information to the public or to first responders who have to use that information.
It's much the same in Great Britain, where their system uses words like low risk to critical.
I don't really pay much attention to it.
The question is, what system would be better?
Well, I think an old-fashioned bell, to be honest with you. Woo, and then all of a sudden everyone knows it's terrorist.